a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
The ground rumbled beneath me. The skeletons froze. I rolled out of the way just as a crack opened at the feet of the four warriors. The ground ripped apart like a snapping mouth. Flames erupted from the fissure, and the earth swallowed the skeletons in one loud crunch. Silence. In the place where the skeletons had stood, a 20-foot-long scar wove across the marble floor of the pavilion. Otherwise, there was no sign of the warriors. Welcome to Of the Eldest Gods, where we discuss Rick Riordan's role as our godly parent.
I'm Ray from Cabin 12.
And I'm Charlie from Cabin 13.
And I'm Blake from Cabin 15.
Hello!
Woo!
Hello.
Y'all might recognize Blake's voice from our the Hades episode that we did a while back with Taylor, where Blake and I explained the game in a PowerPoint-esque format. It was great. We re-released that to the main feed recently.
Oh yeah, it was a delight.
Yeah. Love that episode.
Well, it was real fun. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. I don't remember if we actually, introduced all of your stuff in that, so we're gonna do that now, again, my dude.
Okay.
So, tell us a little bit about you, your pronouns, how you got into the series, all that stuff.
Well, my pronouns are they, them, or ze, them. I got that one. In other news, I started reading, in elementary school when you start reading middle grade novels. I really enjoyed it. A lot right off the bat. NICO in particular was an especially important character to me throughout my life. So,
Mood.
Here I am. Talk about NICO.
That is why you're here.
Yeah, then it's NICO time.
He's entered his angst era.
It begins.
Oh my goodness. And what's the exact chapter title here? It's I Get a New Enemy for Christmas. And if I've planned this correctly, this comes out right after Christmas. This episode.
Oh fuck yeah, Charlie!
You got all the planning together.
It's all coming together. I did it, y'all. Fuck yeah. Yeah. Well. What? Y'all just keep staring at me, and I'm like, am I the only person here?
I think, okay.
I mean, I don't think we can stare really anywhere else. I'm just looking into the camera.
We are
Looks into the camera.
Blake was saying that they're from Hypno's cabin. They're a child of Hypnos, because Z's sleepy all the time. And I'm like, me too, bro. And so I think it's because we're both falling asleep on you, Charlie. We're just sitting here. We're true. Like, Charlie, you gotta have all the energy for the podcast.
You know
I
what?
was taking a power nap before this started. There's really not much I can do about it.
I will have all the energy to talk about my brother, NICO Di Angelo.
NICO!
Honestly, he is my son and boy.
We can finally talk about.
I know I say that about a lot of boys, but
true, you do. You were recently telling me about your newest son and boy.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that in
later.
Plugs at the end. Oh my goodness.
Anyways, y'all want some chapter summarizing?
Yeah. What
is that what you want?
Who is this enemy we got for Christmas? I wonder who it could be.
Who could it be?
We've said a name several times so far, but I guess we'll find out. First, Percy has to make some phone calls, or iris messages, whatever you want to call them.
IMs.
Indeed. We catch up with Tyson and Sally, who is once again hanging out with her friend, heavy air quotes. They were holding hands. Clarice comes back from her cryptic quest with some cryptic bad news, and that will probably never come up ever again, because nothing cryptic ever does in this series. Chiron tells Annabeth and Percy that the Titans will probably make their first attack on Camp Half-Blood, so that sounds totally fine, and I'm sure that won't come come up again. Then we discover that apparently no one told Nico his sister fucking died, because they're all bad people, I guess. So now a 14-year-old has to do it.
Percy did not have to do it. Percy should not have been the one to do it.
They're like, oh, we wanted to wait for you to come back to tell him. It's like, why? Why would you need to do that?
That's shitty.
I get waiting for the quest comers to, like, come back, but, like, it shouldn't have been Percy to do it.
No, it did not need to be Percy at all.
I feel like...
why is that Percy's responsibility?
Percy stood up and took that responsibility because no one else was fucking going to. Because he's actually a good person.
You're right.
Unlike everyone else in this camp, I guess.
You're right.
Anyways, we'll have to get into it later. So Nico is... understandably a little bit upset.
Just a little bit.
just a little.
And then they get attacked by skeletons. Kind of forgot about those guys. TBH.
It's like the snail that catches up with you.
Being chased by skeletons. Percy does his best, Nico's having a freak out, and then a flaming fissure opens in the ground and swallows up the undead. So those are perhaps some clues that we might be putting together, like in an episode of Blue's Clues. we're like, it's all coming together.
That was like 3 memes in one.
I'm connected the 2 dots.
You didn't connect shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Except in this case, we did connect them. We were correct.
It's like we have a cork board with red string, except we really did not need it. We needed a cartoon dog to put some paw prints. Anyways. So, and Nico runs the fuck off, and Percy decides not to tell anyone about any of that, which is certainly a choice. And I'm sure that will never come back again.
Nope, not at all.
And apparently children get eaten by monsters often enough that that's just, like, fine. And no one is worried about that.
They can get eaten by the harpies. That's like, totally valid.
Yeah.
They're allowed to get eaten by the harpies.
Okay. It's just, if, like, you hear that kind of thing a lot, and it feels like a joke is the thing. But when it happens to someone you know, you're like, actually, I think maybe this is fucked up.
Yeah, just a little bit, maybe.
Anyways, and then the book will end on one last cliffhanger, because we needed another one. Pan tells Grover to get packing.
I await you.
Apparently, we're gonna see him soon. And that is the final chapter. The setup chapter. The chapter of setting up. Like, we always get our nice little cliffhangers. We always get our little plot threads. But my god.
There's a lot of
this is a lot. All right.
Just a bit. Oh my goodness. Well, y'all, for my segment... I really struggled just a little bit trying to find some kind of myth to share with y'all. And I am usually able to come up with something that relates to the chapter, and I did my fucking best. So, in case you missed it, we're gonna be talking about this deity named Angelos. Angelia. Yeah.
Close enough.
I'm sorry, Greece. You know what? It's important because Nico's last name. That's why I'm like, fucking found it. I connected the dots. I did it. So we actually have like a Greek character who has a name similar to Nico. Very cool. She's the daughter of Zeus and Hera, who's the chthonic deity. And if you don't know what that means, it means underworld.
Is she really?
Apparently! There is not much here.
How about that?
But it does say that she's related to, like, the underworld.
I was confused because I thought you were saying Hera was a chthonic deity.
No,
and I was like,
no, this goddess.
Yeah, I see. Angelos. Gotcha.
Yeah, Angelos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly she might be an equivalent to Hecate, who is, like, the goddess of witchcraft. Also... an underworld deity. Makes sense. It also says there's a connection to Artemis, which, you know what? That's pretty cool because of how Bianca became a hunter.
No, this is literally perfect. Angelos, underworld, Artemis. Yeah, I've connected the dots.
We have. This is one of my theories. I know you love my little crackpot theories, and this is one of them. So... Yeah, before we were talking about, like, whether or not Nico was one of the characters Rick named after one of his students, and I can't remember if he is, but it just, like, it fits so well that he, like, made him a son of Hades and made Bianca a hunter of Artemis based off of this one random connection. Yeah. That's really all it has here, honestly, is that her name is possibly like an epithet, or she just kind of existed. She's just an underworld goddess, and that's all that really exists here.
Fascinating.
It's good enough for me.
I like it. I if that is intentional, which it very well could be, that slaps.
If it wasn't intentional, it was a very lovely coincidence. How about that?
Heck yeah.
Yeah. I needed something for this. I'm trying to get a myth for every chapter if possible. It's gonna get harder later on.
I appreciate it, Charlie.
I'm proud of you, honestly.
I'm doing it. I'm doing the gods' work. Well, let's talk about this enemy we get for Christmas.
I don't like calling Nico an enemy. He's just a little guy.
Yeah, it hurts. And here, Percy, like, Nico thinks that Percy is his enemy now, but Percy doesn't need to think of Nico as an enemy.
It's more the fact that he's like, Nico is going to be an antagonist to me. Not that, like, I think he's bad. I want to help him, but he thinks that I'm bad, and he's going to do things against me in the future.
Presumably. Maybe it's fine. He's just a little guy.
He is.
A little guy who can swallow up 4 skeletons.
He's like 10.
He opens up like a 20-foot long trench in the ground and swallows the skeletons whole with the ground. It's like a whole thing.
So I do understand why you're a child of Hades, Charlie.
You do?
You know, when you hear something like that, you gotta feel a little goth. You gotta be like, I wish that was me.
Yeah, exactly. But also, Nico's an earthbender.
That too.
We have a waterbender and an earthbender, and Thalia's a lightning bender. We're getting them.
Excellent.
We're getting there. So
I found the part where Nico says that he can sense Bianca in the fields of Asphodel being evaluated, like, just wild.
So creepy.
And also, it reminded me of how when Bianca dies, they can't find her body, and so it's kind of left like is she really dead? And then it's like, Nico right there confirms it for you. Like, yes, she is dead, and I know for a fact. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, we should talk about that a little bit more later, because like during that chapter, we had a really long conversation about like how that was kind of weirdly ambiguous. So that is interesting.
It's like, what happened to her body? Did her body, like, disappear? Or, like, is it just because you can't have a body in a children's book?
But
Also
Luke can get his spine broken, but I guess he's fine, so it
Luke
doesn't matter.
is fine, he's not a child.
That's true, too. That is an adult.
I feel like he's basically a child.
That's also true. Like, you're fucking 20 or some shit. You're just, like, a baby.
Yeah, but he's
I'm
also
a baby.
still a man when we talk about the love triangle, so...
Yeah.
That is gross. So we talked to Tyson again. It's been a minute since we've seen our big boy, the best boy.
Tyson is such a good boy. He made 2,741 magic swords because he fucking slaps. He's so talented. I'm so proud of him.
He found one thing he's good at, and he did it just over and over and over again. I think that's great.
That is what you have to do when you're neurodivergent. You're like, I got this thing. And everyone else is like, aren't you bored? And you're like, no.
No, I'm gonna make another magic sword.
You know, he found his place in the capitalist society of the gods. Therefore, he has value.
Do they pay Tyson?
Maybe in peanut butter? You know, something he likes. I love that, Percy's like, oh, I broke the shield. I'm sorry. And Tyson's like, oh, but it saved your life. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
That's so fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's like Tyson gets it. He gets what he made that shield for. Or, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He saved his brother.
And he says that he's gonna come and fix it later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because apparently he gets the summer off. So there's another setup for the next book, which is presumably happening in the summer. So I'm gonna start, counting. That's one piece of setup. Is that Tyson's presumably going to be there.
Every time we talk about a setup thing, you gotta drink. For every single one of them. That's
pull
the
up a little
drinking game of the
counter.
episode. Yeah, I'm glad that we're gonna see Tyson again next book. Like, maybe in more capacity than this book.
Any little bit of Tyson we get, I'm pleased with. I love him.
He is my special boy. Love him. And then we see Sally with her friend,
Her friend.
Mr. Blowfish.
I like when she's like, don't call him Mr. Blowfish to his face, and Percy's like, no promises.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
Is it supposed to be pronounced blowfish? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. It's just with Blowfish without an H.
Alrighty.
It's so stupid. But it's cute. Paul.
I know you like the pun names, Charlie.
I do, okay? I live for the pun names. I have my theories,
We've
about
all played
why
Ace Attorney here. We all love the pun names.
This is true. We have all played Ace Attorney. Yeah, so Paul is here, and he's immediately told to go to the other room because Iris message time with Sally. He's gone for a while they're just, like, chatting about everything that happened in the past, like, week.
Well, he mentions that he asked, like, whether, do you need the green binder or the red one? I'd like to think he was just standing there staring at them for, like, a good 20 minutes, just like, which one did she want?
That's a mood. I've done that. I am that person.
Okay, is Paul eavesdropping? I know he's not, but, like, honestly, that's the only logical explanation, is that he's just like, damn, is she talking to, a boy floating in the air? I don't know what's happening.
He's just like, I didn't hear the phone ring, but I'm pretty sure she's talking to her son. What's happening?
Question?
How?
Okay, does Paul count as set up for the next book? Since, like, we know that Sally's happy with him, so, like, he could presumably stick around.
Technically, yeah.
Alright, that's two then.
I think so, because it's there. It's definitely, like, Sally's happy. The fact that Sally's like, I'm gonna explain, like, what's happening, and he's like, are you happy? That's all that matters. Like, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's, because... Okay, that scene, I actually really love it, because he's like, so how's that writing seminar going? Mm-hmm. And she's like, I can explain, and he's like, actually don't. But what he says is, are you happy? And she's like, yeah, I am. And I really love the lines there, because Percy says something about even knowing, like, what I'd just seen how mean people could be to each other, like Hercules was to Zoe, or how, like, Luke was to Thalia, and I'd met Aphrodite in person, and her powers had scared me worse than Ares. But he couldn't help but feeling happy for his mom. And that's actually, like, my favorite part of this beginning of the chapter here. Until we get to the Nico stuff, I'm like, this is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Also, I like that Aphrodite thing. That's interesting.
I love, like, how, like, he just has hope that his mom can still be happy and all that stuff. And it's just a nice thing to have, like, after all that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She's gonna be happy with Rick's self-insert, Paul.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to date Sally Jackson, TBH?
She's a MILF. I'm just saying.
I wasn't gonna say it, but...
I'm gonna say it. I'm always gonna say that.
There were a lot of, parental figures in this chapter. In this book. We talked about how, Professor Chase was a DILF a lot, just you know, like...
Yeah, no, I understand that. I picked out Percy calling him handsome. I zoomed in on it.
It's like, bisexual? We know it. Yeah, but I do love this, like, comparison here with, like, the whole Aphrodite, like, we're talking about the ships. We're talking about Hercules and Zoe and Luke and Thalia.
I don't know that that's a ship, but okay.
that is what's happening here. We're talking about the influence of Aphrodite's powers in that paragraph. That's kind of what it's supposed to be about, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. That is the implication. But I got the impression that Hercules was much, much older than Zoe, and that makes me very uncomfortable.
So, mythologically, yes, but I know that, like, in later books, when things are brought up about, like, the heroes, they're always represented as being, like, teenagers, to bring it back to the whole, like, this is middle grade, and also, like, you have to compare them to Percy, because they all have to be, like, we died young as heroes kind of thing. But mythologically, yeah, he would have been old, just a little old.
I don't want to think about that too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know that I read this as all being romantic, but I guess that is the implication bringing up Aphrodite. But at the same time, it's like none of those relationships were like, neither of those relationships, because we only really bring up two, were actually dating relationships, you know?
Mhm.
So it's like kind of vague.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the implication from like
Yeah.
what happened, how like Thalia saw Luke, how Zoe saw Hercules, and they were like abused by these men.
True.
Yeah. It's all great stuff, but you know, it's mythology.
Ugh.
That's how it be. So on to a happier thing. Percy's getting blue candy in his stocking.
Yeah, blue candy.
Never too old for blue candy.
I love that.
And
wanna
then
know
Percy
if
thinks to himself, his mom really is cool.
She is. She's the coolest mom ever. I want to know if she makes
We
her
all
own
been
candy. Because she doesn't work at that place anymore. So does she just go buy candy or does she make her own candy?
I was assuming just like buy it and then like sort out all the blue ones, because that's cute also, just like sorting out the
True.
blue Jolly Ranchers and stuff.
Mhm.
But she could be like whipping up a little batch of it. That would be very cute.
Like, I definitely see her, because she makes her own, like, blue chocolate chip cookies. I see her
yeah.
as that kind of mom who, like, makes and bakes sweets and stuff.
Yeah, candy is just like hard without specialized equipment, but like you can do it. You just have to know what you're doing, and I don't. So every time I've tried, it doesn't work. But she works somewhere, so she probably knows.
I'm
how.
sure she's able to make some of the candy and also get some blue Skittles or whatever to mix in.
Exactly.
Make it
Or,
fill
like,
up the stocking.
They're in New York. There's, like, the M&M's place where they have, like, the blue M&M's, right? They've got
I
that.
have no idea. Okay.
Yeah, they have the little like towers of M&Ms and you can get a specific color.
Exactly.
That's fun.
And that's what
But
I do
I feel like
whenever I'm
that
there.
takes part of. But I feel like that takes part of the joy out of sorting through M&Ms and
Yeah.
getting out the blue
Yeah.
ones.
True. And then she just eats all the rest of them for herself and just gives the blue ones to Percy.
This is not me giving you my leftovers. This is love, and it is.
Exactly. Well, we are back at camp, and
Grover spreads the word, and now all of the satyrs are looking for espresso bars.
oh my god, is coffee really the answer? Is coffee the answer?
Apparently so.
Coffee is always the answer.
Well, I know you would say that.
I know I drink more coffee than you, and I know I just made that joke, but I also don't drink that much coffee.
You know what? Everyone drinks more coffee than me, therefore, that's how it works. That's all I have to say. Coffee is not always the answer.
It could be if you believed hard enough.
Which these satyrs seem to be believing.
Exactly.
They believe in Peter Pan?
That was a bit of a stretch, Charlie.
I tried, okay? I'm trying here.
It was a thinker. It took me a second.
You're welcome. I'm always here for it. Well, we gotta talk about the things we're not gonna talk about, because Clarice is back, but she's not gonna talk about her mission at all.
Yeah, we're just gonna drop in that there's bad news and then just entirely ignore that. It's
We'll
fine.
deal with the bad news later.
You know what? I think we could talk about the fact that, like, Rick writes a lot of short stories, like, after this. He has never written a short story or anything about Clarice's little adventure.
That's too bad.
That's so sad.
I do need more Clarice content. Like, she's very interesting,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She had, like, a whole, like, arc in the last book.
right?
And now her and Percy have, like, begrudging respect, I think. Maybe. Well, Percy's thinking about, Rachel, our girl.
Yeah. Red.
He is only alive because this random mortal helped him.
He's only alive for many small reasons.
But specifically, he talks about Rachel. And
He
I
does.
know someone here loves Rachel. So,
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. Also, we might have to cut this out, but set up number 3.
I don't think that's a spoiler. I think that's just like set up
I
number
think
3.
that is a spoiler, but I think that we already spoiled it during the Rachel chapter, so...
She gets 3 names. You know she's coming back.
True. Anyways, so set up number 3. Oh wait, no, that's 4. I just skipped over the bad news.
That's true. That's 4 setups so far.
Yeah, that's what we're up to.
And then Luke is back. We know that Luke is
5.
alive. Actually, this is like the third time we've talked about Luke is actually alive.
Yeah. But informing Chiron of it is important. So, I would mix that with the setup that eventually Camp Half-Blood is likely to be attacked. Luke is alive, and they're going to attack Camp Half-Blood is setup number 5.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. But, we got 2 more years before the final battle or whatever that'll be. So, who knows? Who knows what'll happen?
Yeah.
And again, we get the whole, Clarice has news, but we're not gonna talk about it. It's literally just cut off because Nico is here.
Nico.
And
Nico.
It's all about Nico. It's all about
God,
Nico.
this shit breaks my heart. Because he just is really excited, and he's like, hey, where's my sister? And I'm like, oh my god.
He was, waiting for her to come back, for so long, and then...
I cannot believe no one fucking told him. Chiron, what are you doing?
Remember,
you're an adult.
He doesn't tell people anything. We know this.
No, he does not. He's a piece of shit, TBH. Just for this. I'm so angry. I know that this is just because we wanted Percy to have this scene, and then we'll have, all the proper setup for these characters, and, it's important, but I cannot.
Yeah.
It happens for plot reasons, but I cannot reconcile. This is so shitty.
Were you gonna say something?
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I steamroll.
No, that's okay. I just have no memory.
That's true. This is true. I know you don't. Well, yeah, as we already explained earlier, Percy's like, well, no one else is gonna fucking talk to him, so I guess I have to, because I'm a self-sacrificial, boy.
He says that he felt like he owed it to Bianca, which means he's still feeling guilty about that, which is about to get a lot worse.
Yep, just a bit. He gives Nico the little figurine, and God, Nico's words are stabbing Percy. You promised you would protect her. Remember that chapter title?
Yeah.
What was it? Just I make a promise or something?
Yep. I make a dangerous promise.
Oh no,
there it
that
is.
danger is coming to fruition.
Yep, that chapter title was a prophecy. There you go. You promised.
Yeah.
Okay, Nico's having nightmares.
Yes, that's ominous.
I want some explanations. We're not gonna get them, but I want to know. What is he dreaming about?
Okay, and then Percy actively says she might be alive, I don't know for sure, and then Nico confirms Bianca's dead.
Yeah.
So he can feel that she's in Asphodel being judged, which I think is really interesting. Hades kids get a lot of shit. So, not that Percy doesn't get a lot of shit. Sometimes you get on a boat and you're very surprised that you can move sails with your mind. But
yeah,
it's not as exciting as knowing
when someone
what's
is dead.
happening to dead people.
Yeah.
That must be a fun ability to have,
Yeah.
I assume
Yeah.
he gets it even more because he's connected to her. If it were just a random person, he wouldn't know immediately. He'd probably have to, focus his energy or something. But it's Bianca. Yeah. It's his sister.
So he knows. Yeah.
He knows immediately.
So, Hades kid pros, you get a lot of shit. Cons, most of it sucks.
There will be better powers, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah.
But for now, all he can do is open a gaping maw in the ground.
Oh,
which
yeah,
is still
no
pretty
big deal.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So Percy's not understanding the Hades thing at first. He's like, wait, how do you know? And then skeletons and attacking. Nico thinks Percy wants to kill him?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's upsetting.
Oh, God.
And Percy's like, no, I was being chased by skeletons, bruh.
And then he says, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
Because he
oh
broke
my
his
God.
promise.
I'm gonna cry. So
he's for real just a little guy.
Yeah, Percy can't do this by himself. There's 4 of them, and he's just there. And Nico is just there.
Yeah, it's kind of skimmed over. It's a really quick scene. This whole chapter feels very quick, all of this part, which kind of makes sense to me because we don't really want to, draw out that conversation because it's really uncomfortable. But,
mm-hmm.
But, remember, these skeletons were a big fucking deal. They kind of beat the shit out of them. Percy almost died. He got shot once.
You know,
his cool toxic masculinity cloak was the only reason he's still alive right now.
Oh, I love that phrase. It's my favorite thing now. The cloak of toxic masculinity. Yeah, so Nico just says, go away, and they're gone. Flames erupted from the fissure. The earth swallowed the skeletons in one loud crunch.
Crunch.
And Percy's like, how did you do that?
But Nico says go away to Percy, and thank God, the same thing doesn't happen to him.
Yeah.
That would suck.
That's it.
I think that's nice. It's like Nico doesn't like hate Percy so much he's gonna,
Kill him?
descend him and kill him. At least there's that.
Unalive him?
As they say on TikTok. I was kind of figuring it was more just like he has influence over undead, but not over Percy because he's not dead yet. I don't know that Nico did any of this shit on purpose just now.
I think if he had, really wanted Percy dead in that moment, Percy probably would have died.
Yeah, I definitely think it's definitely fueled by his emotions, and he's like, he doesn't want the skeletons to kill him, so they go away. And he doesn't actually want to kill Percy. So it's
yeah.
He has complicated feelings going on in that direction.
Indeed. Because they were, kind of getting along before.
He idolized this boy.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
And
just a little bit of hero worship there.
I feel like that's why this feeling of betrayal hits Nico so hard here, is that, he did trust Percy.
Yep.
And now he does not anymore. It's one of those all or nothing type things.
Yeah, and then Percy trips over the statue like a bitch. How did he not recognize it was Hades? Because
that's weird.
We talked about he doesn't recognize who it is. I wonder if that means anything, but we knew it didn't, and it's just weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's very strange because, we know that this is from the actual god place, and that Percy says that he recognizes the face. It actively looks like Hades, who is a person who Percy has met.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't know why you were confused about this.
Yeah, it's not like he had, no reason to think it would be Hades. He knew it was a god. It shouldn't have been that difficult to form the connection, but...
So, Blake, we also have a theory about mythomagic, because the figure was in the junkyard where all of Hephaestus's, shit goes. Our theory is that Hephaestus made mythomagic.
That's great.
So it's just fanfic about his family, basically.
Imagine if you gave all of your family power rankings.
I mean, you're suggesting I don't already do that.
My mistake.
And then you made Dionysus weak as shit. But I still think you're cool, wine dude.
It's for balance. It's fine.
Oh my god. So is that's setup number 6, I guess?
Oh, yeah.
Is that combined with
I feel like that counts for 2
conversation
setup points.
Is it 2? I mean...
I just mean, it's so large.
Oh,
yeah, well,
yeah.
It's the fact that Nico is going to come back, and then the next conversation about he's a son of Hades is, the next one after that, because it implies some things, and they have to talk about what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure does.
So I even would, that's 2 points. We're up to 6 now, because
I think we're at 7.
Nico prophecy shit. Oh, yeah, 7. Yeah, or I don't know. I can't count.
We're at 7.
Yeah, Nico hates Percy now and is an incredibly powerful demigod. Plus, now Percy has to purposefully try to take the prophecy onto himself that he never wanted, because he doesn't want it to fall to Nico.
Yeah.
Yeah, last chapter we talked about how Thalia purposely put it on Percy. She's like, I'm not claiming this prophecy. I will not be the person because I need to take a fucking break. And then she's like, good luck, Percy.
TBH valid of her.
Good luck, bro.
Yeah.
And now he's like, oh, I see. I can't put it on this kid because he's had it even worse. So I have to take it. Bro.
I mean, it's not like you can make Nico grow 6 years in the 2 you have, but
you know,
but still.
We don't know that. This is the land of magic and gods. Anything's possible.
Happened.
More fucked up shit has happened.
Like, he stayed 10 years old for like 80 years, so...
Yeah.
So who knows? We could age him 6 years in the span of 1. We don't know. Yeah, so he's the son of Hades, but Hades did not break the oath.
He
Yes,
did not.
I find that very funny.
I love that. It makes me so happy. It's like,
Yep.
Hades
so,
followed the rules. We still get kids of Hades, but...
You know why he didn't break the oath? Because he's the fucking god of the underworld. Like, the goddess of, like, oaths, Styx, is, like, right there. He knows her power. He's like, I ain't gonna do that. I'm, like, the god of the underworld and riches. I'm a businessman. I don't break no oaths. Come on. Yeah. So...
Yeah, he's got shit to do, TBH. People die so much, guys.
Yeah, they really do. He's got too much shit going on. We talk about that lawyer again, who just appeared and took them out of the Lotus Hotel.
Is that a setup? Is that setup number 8? I mean, I don't know that that's coming back.
It's a little
immediately,
thing, but it's not. I feel like that's...
Yeah, I don't know that I...
That's not really important. It's important to me, but I don't know if it's important to everything else. There is just a random lawyer who got someone out of the Lotus Casino.
A little something. A little flavoring for y'all.
Yeah. So, Percy's taking it on. And God, this boy, I want to protect him too. I want to protect them all.
Okay, when Percy is, like, explaining this, you're like, okay, that makes total sense. Like, you're trying to protect this kid? Valid? Gotcha. And then he just tells Chiron that Nico, like, ran off. And he's gone forever now, don't worry about it. And Chiron just accepts that, and I'm like, oh no, this is a terrible idea.
That's how you protect someone. Just let them run off and go off on their own.
Go off on their own when we know that fucking Luke is out there and he's already tried to get like another child of the big 3 on his team, and you're like, we've made some fucking mistakes, have we not?
Well, Chiron, they don't tell Chiron that he's a son of Hades. That is important.
They do not, yes.
They only tell... Percy only tells Annabeth and Grover. That's it.
And he's like, we're gonna keep this a secret. And I'm like, I think that's a terrible fucking idea.
I don't think Chiron needs to know shit, because he doesn't tell anyone else shit. So, I think this is well-deserved payback, personally.
But it's always a bad idea.
True.
Sorry, Blake, what were you saying?
Well, I just think, letting Nico run off was, like, maybe a bad idea just for Percy and Annabeth and Grover, too. Like, maybe they shouldn't have just let him run off like that. They should have, like, maybe tried to go after him, or I don't know.
Literally anything. Like, that's a 10-year-old. Is he going... what are you expecting him to do?
Like, beyond Luke, like, they just know that monsters are after Nico. Like...
Yeah.
We've just established that he is, in fact, incredibly powerful, which, I mean, means that he can presumably maybe defend himself, but also means that the monsters are, like, scenting him out like bloodhounds. Like,
well,
oh my god.
Okay, but also, remember, he's, like, a child of Hades. He can do what he just did, which was pretty cool. And, like, the other monsters in, like, the first book, weren't they all sent from Hades to go after Percy, right? So, like, you would think that, like, maybe less monsters would come after Nico? Or at least not the Hades monsters.
But aren't they, like, always saying that, like, it's dangerous to be a half-blood and not, like, at Camp Half-Blood?
Yeah.
It's dangerous to be a half-blood. It is even more dangerous to be a powerful half-blood. And the Titan army already sniffed out Bianca and Nico before when they were at the military school. So, like, we know that, like, at least somebody's looking for them, and any random monster is going to want to eat him.
I'm just thinking that maybe Hellhounds and the Furies are not going to attack him at the very least.
Okay, no, that's true. But there are lots of monsters out there.
There are many other monsters.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. But yeah, the fact that Chiron's like, I hope he was eaten, instead of, like, being recruited by Luke.
And then Percy's like, I have a bad feeling about that. And I'm like, oh, don't say that in the final chapter, then that makes it set up, Percy.
That's just, like, I don't like that. I just don't like that line. Like, I hope he was eaten by monsters. Chiron, that's fucked up. I get that you don't want him to be recruited, but, like,
Yeah. Like, we already know that, like, Annabeth wouldn't agree with that shit, you know? She still wants to redeem fucking Luke, so... Which we do talk about, which Percy is also upset about, which is like half a setup point.
You know?
Because we know that she's still feeling like that.
Hey, remember who has the gray streaks? Annabeth, Percy, and Luke. I'm not gonna stop.
Truth.
I'm not gonna stop bringing it up. They're connected.
See, and I think that you're trying to make me uncomfortable, but that doesn't make me uncomfortable because I've rationalized it. But I think you're making yourself and maybe the audience uncomfortable.
I'm trying to make everyone uncomfortable if possible. To be like, Rick, why did you do that? That's not okay.
It's fine. It's literally fine. Y'all are the ones making it weird.
It's like the Percy Jackson World version of the Red Thread of Fate. That's what my mind is going to. Like, they're connected, you know?
I know, like, the Red Thread of Fate is supposed to be, like, romantic or whatever, but why does connection have to be romantic? If that
exactly.
was
true.
like...
Blake, we are the same fucking person. Blake also goes by Ray, so like, we are connecting. We are mind melding.
My theory is that you two are actually the same person, but I've now seen you, like, on the same Zoom call in different squares, so I guess you can't be? I don't know.
No, Charlie, this is an elaborate hoax.
Yeah, don't worry. This is my body double. I've had one for years, and I just haven't told you.
Wait, no, I know it. You're variants. You are variants of each other. Y'all have seen, have you seen Loki?
I was thinking that we just, recorded one beforehand and predicted every single conversation piece that was going to happen. like in Doctor Who, when he does that recording that replies to you.
Oh my god. Good episode. Love Blink.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, is it a bit of setup that Annabeth's gonna be in San Fran? Is that set up?
That's not set up any more than Percy going home for Christmas is set up.
I guess
you know,
not.
that's not next book. You know what I mean? That's, continuity.
Yeah. Also, but
That's
it is
more
interesting, though.
That's more of a conclusion of this book than it is going to bring up things in the next one.
I couldn't remember for a second. I was just like, where are we? Oh, right. Annabeth's gonna actually go check out Mount Tam and make sure the Titans don't pull anything.
So, potentially that could be set up for setup. If Annabeth does notice anything at is it called Mount Tam? I thought it started with an O, but so I got confused when I was reading
so
that.
There's the actual mountain, like, in California, and then there's, like, the Titan Mountain
gotcha.
that, like,
okay.
is there. Yeah, there's two.
I'm following now.
Yeah, so... Of course, they're gonna wait until the summer, because you gotta wait till Percy's out of school this time. We're gonna wait. It's the Harry Potter effect. Voldemort only came at the end of the school year.
So this is the opposite of Harry Potter, where things can only happen during the school year. This time, things only happen during summer, and then the Christmas special. That's true.
This book is Percy Jackson, the Christmas special, even though we never actually see Christmas. I want to see Demigod Christmas. What's the holiday is it Saturnalia? That's like the one that's in like December. That's technically Roman though.
Heck yeah, bruh.
I want to see.
It still slaps, so.
I want to see Demigod Saturnalia.
Heck yeah, bruh. Get crazy with it.
They get drunk on nectar, but like it's not actually drunk, it's just like magically powerful or something. I don't know. Dionysus spikes the nectar. Okay. Well, there's the cliffhanger. We drank a lot of coffee, and we're playing music, because Grover's the bard. So, Pan awaits him, and that's it.
Grover always seems very not good when Pan talks to him.
I mean, he has been drinking, like, gallons of coffee. I don't think he's doing very well, just in general.
Yeah, that'll fuck you up.
Like last time, I'm gonna say it was Pan's magic and the coffee. This time, it's definitely more the coffee. Because last time we got, like, a blessing from the wild, like, outright. This time it was just a little voice talk, you know? This is more coffee talk. Okay.
Hey.
Yeah?
Hey, we're about to wrap up, so I just want to emphasize to y'all, Nico lost his only family. That's the person who basically raised him. And she left him on purpose because she wanted to live her own life, which is valid of her. But that doesn't mean that it's not valid of him to have felt very lonely and upset about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then she fucking died while he wasn't even there.
Yeah.
And that's fucked up.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Blake, what are your feelings about the whole Bianca situation? We've talked about it a lot ourselves.
Well, she's valid for, like, wanting to, like, live her own life, but I think she could have, maybe done that without, like, leaving to join the Hunters, like, the second she got the chance to do so. And I don't know, I just feel like it's almost like Nico didn't really fully understand Nico didn't fully understand what was going on with Bianca before she died, and that kind of makes me sad too. Like,
I 100% agree. Like, the issue for me is that no one communicated with Nico. I see now that this is a continuation of a problem. Like, I have no issues with Bianca having made the choices that she did, but I do think that she should have had a conversation with her brother, probably beforehand.
Yeah.
Like, just to keep him updated on what's going on in her life. Like, oh my god.
Just a little bit. Just a wee bit.
And then no one even told him that she died. This shit would not have happened if someone else had fucking talked to Nico and helped him process his emotions. Like an adult Chiron.
Yeah, I just wonder what Nico was even doing during that time that Percy and everyone else was gone. Like, was anyone talking to him, like helping him, or was he just chilling?
Yeah, because camp is even like emptier than usual, and he's stuck in the Hermes cabin.
There's only like
hanging out with the Stoll brothers,
maybe
who
10
are
people,
definitely cheating him out of his money.
There's maybe 10 people at camp total.
Yeah.
But, like, less than that because all the questers left. So it's, like, the Stoll brothers, Selena, some areas
who's in the
felt
hospital.
Like even more lonely and lost than he's ever felt before, and then yeah,
my emo son.
I feel like
I hope you enjoyed talking about Nico.
I just feel like for like every appearance Nico has in this book, people are just like, like especially towards the beginning, people are just like kind of disregarding him as like this is just he'll be fine. And then he's not fine. He's not.
Yeah, he got brushed off as annoying like so many times in those early chapters.
Yeah.
And
yeah, when he was just a small boy with his hyperfixations.
He was so happy earlier in this book.
He really
Y'all remember
was.
That?
I remember Happy Nico.
Well, we won't see him for maybe a long time.
Potentially a long time, yeah.
Yeah. Is Nico ever happy?
Don't say that. I don't want to think about it.
Well, it's fine. He's entered his emo era, and he's a son of Hades, so his goth era awaits.
It's thematically appropriate, so...
Yeah, he was legally mandated to enter an emo era at some point.
But he has to become full goth, too. I don't think that's a spoiler. His dad is Hades. It's literally his fucking dad.
Yeah, Rick's not that subversive.
The only thing Percy is missing is wearing Hawaiian shirts every day.
I think he deserves to do that.
He does.
I think he should, yeah. We've talked about what an adult Percy would be like before. I could definitely feel the vibe.
I've drawn a picture of what I think older Percy would wear, and it was like a plaid Hawaiian shirt. Because I'm like, he's that guy who has like just no fashion.
Yeah, the only reason I can think of is that he wouldn't wear Hawaiian shirts all the time is because his dad does, and that's like a little awkward, but I hope he can come into his own enough to rock his own style of Hawaiian shirts.
Well spoken.
But
indeed.
Percy would get like cool ones. He would have like a good dad vibe and not like the shitty not there dad vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah, Poseidon does feel very vacation dad. I feel like Percy's Hawaiian shirt vibe is more like a cool beach dude.
He's a surfer bro. I mean, Nico literally asked, like, are you good at surfing? We already know.
You know you would be, Percy.
We know
Get on it.
He skates. So, it's only logical that he could surf, right?
It's just skating, but on water. Like, I'm sure there's no other difference.
I watched Johnny Tsunami and Johnny Kapahala. I know that Percy could do it. If If that kid could do
That's
it,
definitely
Percy could.
That's definitely not how it works whatsoever at all, except for the fact that he is the son of the sea god, and so that is definitely how it works.
And then he just needs to learn how to snowboard, because that's still water.
We'll complete the trifecta.
Yeah, literally. Oh my god. Well, what are our thoughts on this book as a whole? Do we have feelings, thoughts, opinions?
Kind of slaps. Pretty good. Percy Jackson got depressing. Not that there hasn't been, like, deeply depressing, like, super emotional shit in the first two books, but, like, it is the first time we've allowed children to die, so.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a definite turning point for the series.
Yeah, absolutely. As the middle book in the series, just in the first place, it's gotta
have that. This is like, oh, the great stirring is happening. Like, shit's getting real. We have, like, we're talking about war. Like, the skeletons are dressed up like they're an army. We have a general. Like, we're setting up for a war. That's what this book is about.
Mm-hmm. It's constant militarism, and it really does change the vibe from, like, individualistic quests where certain heroes are going to save the day by doing this one thing, which is what we've always been doing before, even though it hasn't ever quite worked out like that, you know, because the bad guys have big plans and whatnot. But, like, now it is becoming more collectivist, more armies, more, shit's going down.
Yeah. I mean, like, the first 3 quests so far that we've had, like, the hero's still doing, like, this one thing, but it's still all been leading up to, like, the Titan's plan. It's, you know, it's very good in that way, right? We had, like, the possible idea of, like, oh, we're gonna use the lightning bolt to start the war that way, or we're gonna use the fleece to make Kronos alive, or bring Thalia back from the dead to mess shit up, and then Artemis.
Right, but those are, like, singular big plays, as opposed to, like, this, like, methodical building up of an army, which is a lot more of the feeling in this book.
Yeah, but it's still, like, it's in the background of, like, the whole quest that's going on in this book. And, yeah. Good shit, my dudes. Good shit.
I know that this is a lot of people's favorites book. I honestly can't pick a favorite out of the 3 that I've read recently. I don't even know anymore. So maybe I'll come up with an opinion once we get to the end of this series. Maybe I won't, because sometimes I just don't.
Who makes decisions?
Yeah, big mood. Charlie, do you have any thoughts or feelings about that?
I mean,
is this one of the better ones?
It is definitely one of the better ones. I always like the first one to be, of any series, to be my favorite, just because I'm like, it feels like coming home to the series. Yeah. Like, whenever I, like, go right back to the beginning and dive right in. That's how I always feel about it. But this is also a very good book. Because Nico.
Yeah. What about you, Blake?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, more than anything or anyone else in this series, I latched on to Nico so dramatically that, like, I can't not love this book because it has Nico in it. It's Nico's introduction, and he's here, and I'm so glad to see him again. It was so fun reading this again.
Yeah. Kind of fucked up, though.
Yeah, it's a bit depressing, but, you know...
It's fucked up, you know, it's a middle grade urban fantasy. That's how it be. Well,
damn, I think we did it. I think we read a book.
We
How about that?
We did. We read a fucking book. Yeah. And then next time, we're gonna be talking about the musical. That's gonna be pretty cool because
I'm very excited. I'm very excited for everyone to get mad at me.
Oh no! Ray, am I gonna have to kick you off the pod?
Probably. We'll get into it later. We'll get into it. It'll be fine. I'll have thoughts and feelings.
Oh boy. Yeah, well, Blake, do you want the people to find you on the internet? Do you want to be just an entity within this podcast?
No, I can plug my Tumblr because that is the only place I am online, which is Snake Fashion.
Well, you know, everyone's going back to Tumblr now, so...
Everyone is going back to Tumblr. It's making a comeback. I got a follower today. It definitely wasn't your blog.
Yeah, I might have made an Of the Oldest Gods Tumblr, of the Oldest Gods pod.
Oh.
Listen, Twitter's dying.
We gotta do something. Twitter is fucking dying. I'm really wondering what's gonna happen first. This episode releasing or Twitter disappearing off the face of the internet.
We'll see, but we'll probably have to.
There'll be some dramatic irony either way when people are listening to this.
We'll probably have to edit our credits anyway, so.
Yeah.
Well, my dudes, what have we been watching, reading, listening to recently that we'd like to plug on the pod?
I'd like to plug an indie visual novel series called Butterfly Soup. There are 2 games. You can find them on itch.io. Both of them are free, like pay as you wish. And the tagline is, it's a visual novel about young lesbian Asian American girls playing baseball and falling in love.
Fuck yes, that sounds amazing.
They're very good. They're very good. And they're full of memes. It's great.
Love
Heck
that.
Yes. I'm so excited.
The second one just came out, like, at the end of October, I think, so.
Ooh, that's very exciting. Excellent. We already set up what I wanted to talk about, which, like, I know that somebody's already brought it up as a plug, but
I have,
might
in
as well
fact.
do it again.
Listen,
Okay.
I plugged something
I wasn't sure if it was you or a
that
guest.
you plugged before, too. Like, we both plugged Spy Family within, like, a couple weeks of each other, and I forgot.
Yeah, that's true.
It deserves 2 plugs. It's a good show.
It is. I finally caught up on The Owl House.
I'm so happy.
I took forever to watch the second half of season 2. And that was because I know how I am and I know how I live. And, one, I binged the entirety of season 2B, which is 11 episodes, in one sitting.
Yeah. How you feeling?
And I had fucking heart palpitations. Like, holy fucking shit.
Bro.
It got real in there.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it fucking did.
In case any of y'all are unaware, The Owl House, show on Disney. You know them.
Them.
The Owl House, got canceled. They knew, I believe, as they were going into season 2, that they were not going to be able to finish with a full 3 seasons. What they did get was the full second season and then 3 specials, which are going to come out a few months apart from each other. We don't have a release date
you watch the
for the
first
second
one?
episode. Yes, I did. Holy shit!
Holy shit.
Good.
So that's where the show is at right now. It's got 2 more specials and then it's gonna end. It got canceled for mysterious reasons.
Gay.
And in other news, the first episode of season 3 had some real good fucking gay shit. We had non-binary colors, we had pride flags, we had they, them pronouns.
I love it. I love it so much.
So thank you, Dana Terrace. Just to I'll try to be fast. Owl House has like a little bit of Gravity Falls vibes. Alex Hirsch works on it as well. And so it definitely has some of that lineage. So if you like that show, you might want to check this one out. So to start off, season 1 was like not super my vibe, TBH, which I said TBH a lot this episode. Don't worry about it.
Wow.
So like, it was a little over episodic for me, and a lot of stuff didn't like quite click. And I was like, okay, I enjoy this, but it's not like my favorite thing. Season 2, they knew that they were gonna get cut off fast, so they're like, okay, we have all this plot to do, we're just gonna do it. I have never seen shit paced this well in my fucking life. Like, season 1, I'm like, oh, the pacing feels weird. I don't know why they're doing it quite like this. I feel like we should have had more information earlier. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Season 2, I am like, it is tight. Like, this shit is tight as fuck. It is so good.
Yeah.
Like, it is.
Yeah.
It is some of the best cartoon writing I've ever seen. It's like miraculous what they've been able to accomplish.
Miraculous?
Like, I am
miraculous. Like another cartoon I know.
Like what I was watching before we started.
I should watch that show too. But I can only think about one thing at a time, okay?
Mood.
I've read so much. It's been like 4 days maybe since I watched it, maybe 3. I've read dozens of fan fictions. I watched reaction videos of the episodes that I had watched 3 times. This is how I live. I can only do one thing at a time.
I'm gonna have to talk to you about it after we're done.
Good. Anyways, so that's my endorsement, is that, like, in season 2, shit hits the fan in the best possible way. Like, I've seen shows that had more time do shit, like, more rushed and, like, worse feeling. Like, they just... It's literally incredible. I love it so much. So if you haven't given it a shot, I'd say probably do.
This is the second recommendation you've gotten, and it's way better than mine was. So I'm pretty sure I just said,
I didn't even tell you anything about the plot or anything. I'm just like, anyways, I have to stop now. I was like, I'll be short, and then I wasn't.
Amazing. Good. Well, literally today I finished reading a book. Oh, that wasn't Titan's Curse.
So you finished reading 2 books today.
That's true. I did. Different points in the day. So I finally got around to reading Red, White, and Royal Blue. Which was a book recommended very highly to me by a friend who is no longer with us. So, yeah.
Charlie, we are crying on the podcast.
Yeah?
Come on now.
Listen, I've been crying as I've been reading it because I'm like, I can't talk to her about it. So, I'm sad.
Oh.
Yeah. But I hope...
That's very sweet, though.
I hope, Becca, wherever you are, you know that I really liked it. So, it's a good book. It's a good gay book.
We love shit that's gay. All of our recommendations were gay. That slaps.
It's true. I wonder why. Is it because we're all gay?
I think queer people make podcasts.
Queer people make good podcasts. There's a difference.
True.
Well, that is it for the pod today. That is it. What happened in this chapter? I need an outro. Get out of my fucking cabin because, like, Nico...
shut up, Charlie. I'm gonna run away forever into the woods to get eaten by monsters.
Oh, I was gonna say my brother ran away into the woods who got eaten by monsters, so get out of my fucking cabin.
You don't even have a brother. You're an only child. Oh no, that's
Nico!
how Charlie became an only child.
Nico was eaten by monsters, so I'm an only child now.
I don't think that's. I don't think that's how only children work. I think if your sibling dies, I don't think that makes you suddenly an only child. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I don't know.
It's just my opinion, man.
Oh, well, either way, get out of my fucking cabin. I'm sad now.
Oh. You can find this podcast's socials at Of the Eldest Gods Pod on Instagram and at Of the Eldest Gods on Twitter. You can send an iris message to us through oftheeldestgodspod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support us financially, join us at patreon.com/oftheeldestgods. By becoming a patron, you can join the Deus Ex Media Discord server, where you'll be able to chat with us and other listeners about episodes and anything Percy Jackson related. Our $5 Patreon tier also gets you access to Against All Odds, our monthly bonus show. There, we'll talk about a wide variety of topics, which usually have something to do with mythology. No promises. You can check out our merch store on TeePublic to find custom designs made by Charlie. Or, if you cannot or do not want to support us financially, we'd really appreciate a rating, a review, or letting your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. You can find me, Ray, at HeyHeyRay, spelled R-A-Y-E, on Twitter. If you want to hear more from me, check out Barbie Movie Slap, a podcast where my co-host Ted and I discuss Barbie's cinematic universe.
You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms, but on Twitter, I'm at GreenPixie123, which I'm totally not salty about. I also have an art Instagram that I sometimes use at GreenPixieDraws. I sometimes do the YouTube thing on my channel Charlie Mack, that's M-A-C-K, and I also have another podcast on the network called Fandoms Gone Wrong, where my mom and I talk about movies, TV shows, books, whatever other fandoms we enjoy. You can find that on all the major podcasting apps. Our music was written by Isabel Strauss-Riggs and recorded and edited by Ian M. Riggs. You can find Izzy at Kane_I, that's I as in the body part, on Instagram and Twitter. She also currently makes video essays on the YouTube channel Kane I. Feel free to message her about making music for your project or editing your podcast. Of the Eldest Gods is proud to be a part of Deus Ex Media, which features great podcasts like The Restricted Section, a chapter-by-chapter Harry Potter pod with lots of spoilers all the time.
What's up, potheads? We're the restricted section, a raunchy, rowdy, rambling, unabashedly pro-trans rights Harry Potter book club podcast hosted by a bunch of nihilistic millennial assholes who are desperately clinging to childhood fantasy as a way to escape the monotony of our 9-to-5 work culture and the inevitable extinction of the human race at our own hands. Isn't it wild that this book series was spontaneously created by the gods and has no actual author? The restricted section features a bunch of nerds with potty mouths rereading the Harry Potter series for what has to be like the 3rd to 20th time, and discussing the way the story and its themes have stayed with each and every one of us into our adulthood. We would love for you to join us every Wednesday wherever pods are cast.
Of the Eldest Gods is based on the series by Rick Riordan. Right now we are discussing Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Remember to follow us on your favorite podcatcher and meet us back here every Thursday.
One of my nicknames for them is Snorlax.
That's a big mood.
You know,
we are like the same person, Ray.
I have evidence to prove you have like a bunch of the same fandoms. Maybe not all of them, but like a lot of them. You also both have cats. You're both non-binary. You're the same person. I think the difference is the amount of Barbie. I think that's one of the major differences.
Dave X Media.